I think we can have the historians take out their stone tablets and chisel in. Herf and Circus agree.
Wow. Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here coming at you with Infinite Ray, the box 1 week later.
The box.
The box 1 week later. Oh man, you're blowing my mind over there. We're taking a look at Infinite Ray. Was it worth the investment 1 week later? How is it doing in tournaments? What do you think, Herf?
Honestly, okay, people wanted a meta shakeup, but I must ask you, at what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost did you want this meta shakeup? Because currently, it turned Noble Knights to like a solid tier 2 to pushing a tier 0 deck. I mean, I don't like. Okay, I feel like I'm sometimes a little too hasty to say.
I wouldn't say tier 0. I think you're crazy with that one, but definitely strong.
Okay, they have the representation right now in top cuts.
I want to see a full week of tournaments, but they're definitely harder to beat now. They definitely have more plays.
They're definitely pushing the results. I definitely think they're soul tier 1, and I definitely think that they're probably the undisputed best deck in the meta.
I think they're going to be the example of what's to come.
And I also think that this box gave a lot of things, huge amounts of generic support that is a great investment.
Now, I'm going to get into something real quick. Because this is, I think, like the first XZ's box, like, well, not the first one, but the first one where the XZ's are finally coming into their own with like Noble Knights, you know. Satellar's got some support. There's even a trash deck in here called Digital Bugs. It's all normals and rares. Even that, just the mechanics of that deck are like, okay, this is where Duel Links is going. Like, you bring out one XZ's and you rank up, and then you rank up. They just don't really do a whole lot. But if we start getting more archetypes like that, like we kind of see with like the floating effects with Noble Knights and stuff, we're in for one hell of a ride, man. I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, and we got Rescue Rabbit.
Right.
Like, that's one of the best. Okay, the examples of good generic XC support are Rescue Rabbit and Tour Guide. Those are like the two hallmark staples of generic XC's era in the TCG.
Okay, and we got Rescue Rabbit.
Yeah, we got Rescue Rabbit. So just them giving us that gesture of saying, "Hey guys, we think you're ready," is that's how you know.
Right.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're definitely getting there. And Herf is very good at holding still. So why don't we try to get him back here?
Oh my god, am I did it?
No. Okay, we're gonna take a break.
Honestly, you could just not share your screen to me. I know what's in the box.
Too late. All right, we're back. We got Herf here. All right, so we were talking about Rescue Rabbit, XZs, where we're going. I think this box finally shows us where XZs are going. Maybe, like I said, Digital Bugs, it's kind of a trash deck. We were playing it on stream. It was kind of fun. Not the best, but just the fact that like your XZs summoning off of other XZs and stuff like that. As we get decks that are better, I think the game's gonna be so much more fun. And I think this box is showing us where we're going. It's like, here's Noble Knights, here's a good deck, here's some stuff for Teller Knights. You can upgrade that. I don't know. I'm just more excited about the game because of this box.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this in a prior video, but I said in order for a deck to be good, it has to have either, or a card to be good in general, it has to be either a 1-card starter of a suboptimal combo, or a 2-card starter of your optimal board state. And Teller Knights now have a 2-card combo into an optimal board state, and Rescue Rabbit is a 1-card combo a lot of times into an optimal board state. So like Shiranui was so good because they could Squire, or they could Gazuki, or they could Solitaire, and they were all good 1-card starters. Or like very like solid, like Square was obviously like your optimal board state off of one card,
Mm-hmm.
which was amazing. Obviously, they wanted traps and stuff, but get the hell out of here. Like, I'm not talking about that. Okay, what I'm talking about is in order for Xyz to be good, the problem that it wasn't good before is that we didn't have enough cards that got your entire combo going off of themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this box is finally showing that level of support that we needed to kind of push it into um, a more efficient summoning mechanic than synchros, which Xyz ultimately are when we get the right support.
Right. Yeah, Rescue Rabbit, we were seeing in tournaments already Glad Beasts with a little bit of a comeback.
Well, Glad Beasts were doing decently well in damage step, like it sounded like, looked like, as well as even Luke Tyler has top tournaments with just Rescue Rabbit control. He was just playing balance with Rescue Rabbit and some vanilla level 4s.
Oh, and then just playing control with traps and stuff.
Yeah, he would just Rescue Rabbit into a rank 4 Xyz, and then you just use spells and traps to control the board. Like, that's, I mean, the fact that you could just have one monster and stuff, like, that's why it's good. Like, that's the Squire, right?
Right.
Like,
right.
that's that level of support that we needed to get somewhere in the ballpark.
Yeah. What about the stick in the chair? I've seen that in Dark Magician, right? What are we doing here with that? I think we also saw it in
Dark
Cyber
Lords.
Angels, right?
I saw it in Dark Lords as well.
I think it's
Like,
Cyber Angels too. Yeah.
it's basically any deck that lacks like a turn one. It's basically, I feel like it's going to become like the Neos fusion of Xyz support, right? It's a pretty small engine,
Mm-hmm.
and you can put like a Utopia on the board so you don't die.
Okay.
Right? Like you have a turn one play that ensures you're not dead, and then you have your other cards for follow up, right? It's just like a nice techable engine for decks that don't use their extra deck or need a solid turn one, but don't want to play garbage Neos Fusion where you have to play Garnets. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
so ultimately, and you can play the stick at 3, and you can't play Neos Fusion at 3, and you don't lose access to any other semi-limited cards, so that's nice too. So like you get so many benefits off of a generic summoning mechanic, as well as Thunder Dragons are no longer irrelevant.
Right.
Let's go. Like, level duplication. Oh my god, when you have stuff worth going into, it's broken, right? Like,
trying to promote that how to play Thunder Dragons video, huh?
okay, but no. Anyways, but the idea of just copying levels and then being able to synchro into, or not, well, synchro into them, but as well as Xyz summon. But the Xyz summon is better because you don't need a tutor.
Right.
Right? It's any monsters.
That's
why level duplication is so good.
Yeah.
But you can make a Heliopolis off of any card on your field plus a level 8 in your hands.
Yeah.
Right? Because you just level dupe some of the level 8 Heliopolis.
Easy peasy. Yep.
And Heliopolis is so good because it's basically like a pre-errata Brionic. You just get to destroy it, like wipe out everything, and your opponent has no idea how many cards they're going to remove.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's non-targeting everything. So they could destroy one, so they're forced to disrupt it, and then you have your entire Thunder Dragon combo to finish them off. So good.
One thing I always look for in main boxes is like the deck that's in there. Is Digital Bugs the only like full deck that's in there, or was there another one hidden in here too?
Digital Bugs are the only complete decks that came out of the box.
Which is too bad because we did play that on stream, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but it's a fun little meme deck, but it's definitely not a reason to go into the box. You know, it's not competitive.
This box, yeah. I mean,
it's not, even on the ladder, it's not that good. I mean, it's fun when you pull off the OTK, but it's not real consistent. You know, it's like a garbage phase deck where it's like 12% effective, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that this box is more geared towards
support
dolphins and whales, right? So there are people that are going to have a fair amount of other things already. And this deck makes a lot of already existing decks really good and future decks viable, right? So like this is that kind of a bridge, but it's not any kind of meat for like a new player.
Because there were the boxes like when Teller Knights first came out, people were like, this box doo-doo. But when you
Mhm.
combine it with this box, not so doo-doo.
I mean, Teller Knights are definitely looking to be a very a very solid rogue choice. They're not great. No, if Noble Knights die, Teller Knights, we could be in some business. But
If the best deck out there dies.
well, the biggest problem with Teller Knights is that they're big monsters and immune to destruction.
Mm-hmm.
If we have either one of those, is okay for Teller Knights. But if you have both, kind of messed up, man.
Right.
Kind a bit too far. But I just there's so many cards in this box that are so good, and this is like the first like really meaty Xyz box, where
Mm-hmm.
like now you're seeing like solely Xyz based decks do well. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Noble Knights before, but now Noble Knights are really good. Noble Knights are the Xyz meta now.
Right. Well, yeah, and I just made a video about this building Noble Knights. I mean, it's structure decks, and then this box. This box has everything else that you
Yep,
need.
I
So
mean it's
it's
that easy.
insane value too. You just have to go
Yeah,
through
and
it
they're
once.
super rare, so you only have to go through the box once.
Right. If you want to play
So
one of the best decks in the meta, I mean, and honestly, we were telling people you don't have to have the ballistic squads and the karma cuts. If you're just starting the game or something, and you got some floodgates and Canadias or whatever you got, if you got windstorm, throw it in there, man. Get in there.
and plus, I mean, you're gonna have what is it like 2 ultra rare dream tickets, right? That's
Right.
what people get right now. So that's 2 Canadia right there, and then you have a lot of other. I mean, and then you have super rare tickets as well. So you can get like Wall of D.
Well,
Great.
the next ticket that comes out for the anniversary or whatever,
Mhm.
that I think you're gonna be able to get karma cut with, right?
So yeah, what like you get the best. Okay, so I think Konami had to have done this on purpose, right? They saw how synchros went, and they saw how long it took for them to be like the best summoning mechanic. And they're like, we don't want it to take that long, but we don't want to, we don't want to overload people
You don't
right
want to
away.
rush into it, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, and I guess it's also extremely helpful that Xyz have so many more cards available to
Mm-hmm.
give us than synchros. Like synchros, I think that there are double the amount of potential XCs than there are synchros
Oh yeah, the
in
card
the
list
card
is a
pool.
lot bigger. I'm just looking
So,
at the top decks in the power rankings right now.
mhm.
Desperado, not a synchro deck. Noble Knights, not a synchro deck. Thunder Dragons, they synchro, right?
Yeah, I mean, their extra deck is kind of split right now between synchros and XCs, but it's mostly XCs typically now.
Invoke Neos,
Neither
no, and
fusion.
Goki. That's the top five right there.
So I I think that the next problem that I think that Konami really needs to address is what do they want their game to look like?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think that's like their essential question. And without getting too off topic here, because I know we're talking about the new box, but they have to analyze like what do we want our game to look like? Do we want it to look like back row plus any engine, right? Which is kind of how it looks like right now. Or do we want a more diverse kind of like decks have their cards and they play their own forms of disruption, which is a lot cooler and more interesting to play than getting
Mm-hmm.
Canadian, for 3 years. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Again, look at the top five. Desperado, that's a heavy back row deck. I mean, they play a lot of karma cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Noble Knights have their own trap, but they also play karma cuts. Thunder
Mm-hmm.
Dragons, they don't run a lot of back row, right?
They don't. They run hardly. I don't think that any Thunder Dragons should be playing a trap.
And
So
then
that's pretty good.
Invoke Neos and Gokis obviously both run a lot of traps. So like you were saying, right now the meta is very heavily back row still. There's only one
Mhm.
deck that really runs without them.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really up to Konami, and I think that's. I guess if we want to transition back to the new box, it's going to be what will future boxes look like if they want to transition out of this like generic back row phase that was really cool for a while, but if you get hit by the same forms of disruption for 3 years, it gets a little old, you know.
Well, like Noble Knights, I guess they do run the Karma Cuts and the Ballista Squads, but most of the time
Hmm.
after their opening hand, they don't really run into them a whole lot. You know, you're just playing it to
Yeah,
get that one guaranteed one, or hopefully
yeah.
guaranteed one in the beginning, and then after that, they don't really see them a lot. So I can't really ding them too hard on that. So hopefully decks are going to start looking like that in the future, like you're saying, archetype specific traps. The
Hmm.
XZ floating around. That's where Noble Knights do the best. Is now they can really float with the custom in
Hmm.
into the rank 5, and if that gets popped, it
Hmm.
goes into another float. You know, and then the trap from the grave, you float again, you're back into the level 4 or whatever. I mean, it's great. And I think this box and maybe future boxes are going to be that bridge for the stuff people have been complaining about. Like these past 3 boxes have been doo doo. These XZs are so underpowered. I think we're going to start seeing boxes that are going to start completing these decks, which is obviously a great financial thing for Konami, and it was just probably why
Hmm.
they did it, right? You know, it's like, we'll
Hmm.
release most of the deck over here, and then what you need to play it with, 3 or 4 months
Hmm.
later in another box.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because with Shiranui, the the best support card that we never got was their trap card,
Mm-hmm.
which was like essentially like a huge form of disruption. You get to like banish a card from your graveyard to like banish a card your opponent controls. I don't quote me on that, but it's something to that effect. It's some positive for yourself to banish something your opponent controls. And Konami must have looked at that and they were like, this is, super overpowered. Like, they get to, plus just to disrupt their opponent, which is a way that we figured the community figured out to do anyways with Grass Shiranui, with the World. We like just give us the broken stuff. Okay? I would rather have these broken cards for all of the decks, right? So then at least the because if everything is on that same level of broken, nothing is broken.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if we have a meta of like 4 or 5 decks that are all super super good, right? Like then nothing it's all fair,
Yeah, and
right?
it's
Like
not out of balance.
but the problem is like sure if Konami gives one deck, like if they release full Zodiacs, right? Then that'll really be an Xyz meta. But nobody wants that, right? Like they want everything to be good, which is I can appreciate that, but you also don't want to make nothing good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you gotta have some bravery in like giving us stuff.
Yeah. So I guess to bring it back to the box, it's pretty damn good, right? Especially if you want to
Yeah,
get into Noble Knights. If you want to spice up your Teller Knights a little bit, just other
Thunder Dragons,
Thunder
so
Dragons,
good now.
generic XZ support in there too. So like you said though, it's more for Dolphin and Whales. There isn't that standalone deck in the box.
Hmm.
A lot of people gonna say digital bugs. Not really, man. It's just a little meme deck that you get on the side. It's like, oh, I have
Yeah,
this. I'm gonna play it. Oh, okay.
I think if you can, it's definitely worth getting one of.
What?
Right? Because one of the box,
Go
right?
through the
Like
box
you
ones.
definitely want like Ptolemy M7. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely want because it's one of the best cards in the game. You definitely want one of the Heliopolis, and you
Okay.
definitely want one of the Gaia.
I don't
And
have my
those
one yet. I gotta get my one.
those are the 3 generic Xyz cards that you can get by with one of,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're wondering the shit about like Heliopolis will become like that Vermilion Dragon mech, right? That is like pretty much
Okay.
any deck that can make it is gonna play it. A lot of decks can make it. I mean, rank 8s are not that hard to make, especially because like Blue Eyes
Yeah,
exists.
blue eyes. Yep.
And then as well as you look at the Gaia. The Gaia is one of the best just generic XC support that we have in the game because it's just rank up any
Yeah.
rank 5 or rank 6 into a rank 7. I mean, what like that is just really good generic support. And for free to play players, don't even worry about Rescue Rabbit. Okay, it's not Rescue Rabbit in Duel Links is not going to be as good as it was in the TCG. Just by design, because you need to have 2 normals in your deck. So that means you're going to play 3 Rescue Rabbit, and you're definitely going to play like at least 3 to 4 normals. Which I mean, if you have an amazing turn 1, like obviously it would be good, but it's not going to be as generic or as amazing as the other 3 cards that I listed.
Right. So overall, I think the box is pretty strong.
It is. It 100% is.
Yeah, like Herb was saying, you should go through it once if you've been building an XZ's catalog like I have. It's gonna be able to, maybe not everything's gonna become like competitive or super meta, but Teller Knights won't be such a grind on the ladder anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I would recommend getting at least one of every, or going through the box once, like Herb said. So,
But yeah, I think we kind of covered all the angles. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I think so. I mean, usually we say skip this box. I just want to make sure that, yeah, we're in agreement, right? At least one time.
All right. I think we can have the historians take out their stone tablets and chisel in. Herf and Circus agree.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's pretty scandalous.
But I'm gonna go through and get 3 of everything because that's just me.
Well, doggone it.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even know. Is there anything you really in here that you need 3 of?
I mean, the
The
rescue
stick in the
rabbit.
chair, right? In the rescue rabbit.
You need 3 stick. You can get by the 2 chair because you're not really going to run more than that.
Okay.
You need
But
3 rabbit.
the sticks are the ultra rare, so
3 sticks and 3 rabbit are
okay.
the things you need 3 of.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we covered everything pretty well. I hope you guys liked the video. I think we were supposed to talk about the box. We talked about everything Duel Links as we usually do, and talked about the box a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed it because we enjoyed it. Obviously, I enjoy Herf's company.
No, there's no way.
No, I'm just
You're
kidding.
lying.
I am
You're
lying.
lying.
Yes.
Stop. Quit the cap.
You dirty little liar. All right. We're going to get out of here, but you should get in our Discord because that's where everything happens, man. That's where the new player help is. That's where the tournaments are. Lots of good stuff. So you guys need to get in there. But we're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Herf.
See ya.
See you next time.